My name is Sylvan J. Rahman. Welcome back to Intentional Wealth. In today's video, I want to talk to you about the one thing that I absolutely hate in being an entrepreneur, yet it is probably the most important thing I have done. Before we get into that, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Click that bell icon so you're notified every time we release new content. So the most important thing that I've done in my business, and yet it is the thing that I hate the most in my business, is networking. I hate people. That is what I tell my wife, is that I just hate people. And yet she has reminded me that is not true at all. And I've really started to think about it, and she's right. I don't hate people. In fact, I like going to meetings with people that I know, partners that I know, business associates that I know, and I actually like spending time at these meetings with large gatherings, small gatherings. I like the socialness of being around people that I know. What I realize is why I hate networking. I don't like networking because I have to reintroduce myself every single time I meet someone new. I don't like networking events, but I will go to real estate events. If I know that I'm going to a networking event specifically for networking, I start to get all nervous. I start to feel bad, just not any type of good feelings. But yet, when I go to a real estate event, to learn something about real estate or anything like that, I'm totally excited. And I realize that even at real estate events or other type of business events, that I end up meeting new people. So why is it so hard for me to go to a networking event and meeting new people, yet it's so easy for me to go to other type of events that are not networking specific and be easy for me to meet new people? To tell you the truth, I honestly don't know. I sometimes think that it might be the fact that the second most hated thing that I have is talking about myself. I don't like talking about myself. I don't mind talking about deals. In fact, I get excited when I talk about the deals that I've done or deals that I'm working on. But if you start asking me specifically about talking about myself, I don't like it. It's just so difficult for me to talk about myself. Yet when I get into a rhythm, I can really start talking. This Intentional Wealth channel was an outlet for me to go ahead and talk about things that I think are important for new investors and new entrepreneurs without having to necessarily meet people. It is something that I can do in my videographer's house or on a shooting location, just me and one other person. I don't have to talk to a big group of people in person, but yet with YouTube, I can reach a wider audience, which is kind of funny because I have no problems talking on stage. It's just that whole one-on-one interaction. And I think the fear that I have is that I never feel like I'm good enough. Even though I've come so far in my journey of becoming an entrepreneur and in my journey of reaching my vision for my life, I still feel like I'm never enough. And I think the reason why that is because when I got into real estate investing, and I see this true for most people, is that we want to immediately get into multifamily units. We always focus on getting into big multifamily properties in the beginning. And because we haven't been able to achieve that in such a short amount of time, and I'm not saying that you won't achieve it, but the fact is the vast majority of new real estate investors will not go out in their first year or second year and be able to take down massive amounts of real estate properties, in the sense that you're not going to build a massive portfolio in your first couple of years. What you should probably focus on, and I've realized that I needed to scale back and focus on, is that single family homes and smaller multi-unit properties, those are all at the end real estate properties that are great. So this feeling of never being good enough or never being worthy of someone talking to me is just a big mental block in my head. It's a fear that is totally unfounded, and yet it's an emotion that I feel. The hardest thing for me is to move past that fear. So what do I do to get past it? I actually just go through the motions anyway. I push past all those bad feelings that I have when I go into a networking event, when I go to any type meetings, and I've actually started making the first introduction to people. That is a goal of mine that I wanted to get to be able to make the first move, to be able to say hi first to a stranger and just start talking. What I've realized, even though I hate networking has been the single most important thing in my business. All of my current companies, except for one, all have partnerships. All of my deals have come either through these partners or through the network of people that I've met. I don't actually spend a lot of time looking for deals. All of my deals have pretty much come to me with numbers, pro formas, everything already prepared. I don't have to do a whole lot of background research on that. There is still research that I do for my deals, but the bulk and the majority of that work has been done. I just have to go back and verify that those figures and facts are correct. When I first started into real estate investing, I always thought this was a business that I would like because this is a business that I can do on my own. I don't have to interact with a lot of people. I don't have to go and meet a lot of people. And yet I found out very soon that I was wrong, that I could either spend a lot of time myself looking for things and looking for deals, or I can just network with people, which honestly is more fun because usually I can sit down and have a meal with them. And for everybody that knows me, I'm all about the food. All about the food. The single most important thing that you can do in your business is networking. A lot of opportunities come out of networking and going to meetings, even meetings on strategies that you probably know everything about and you probably don't need to go to. For example, a real estate agent friend of mine is actually part of a little group of investors, and she put it out on Facebook that they were having a Zoom call about the BRRRR strategy. Now, I fully understand the BRRRR strategy. And for those of you that don't know what the BRRRR strategy, it's basically you buy a property, rehab the property, rent the property, refinance the property so you can get your money out, and then you repeat the process. So I attended the meeting anyway because I felt like, well, my friend is putting it on, let me support her. Being in that meeting, she asked me to talk about myself, which is the second thing I hate doing. And she actually mentioned that on the call. Sylvan doesn't like to talk about himself, and yet he's gonna do it. So I introduced myself to the group, and then she went ahead and raised a question and told me to explain to the group about one of my deals that I had done. So I was kind of vague, and I kind of told them about the deal, and I told them numbers, but it was kind of vague. So after this Zoom call, she asked me, how is this meeting? And I was like, it was great. The funny part is now it's created an opportunity for me to actually be the speaker for the next meeting, because a lot of people had questions about what I do, and specifically about the deal that I was kind of telling them about. Networking creates opportunities. Some of these people, or at least one of these people that were at the meeting, might end up being a partner of mine. Now that is yet to be seen, but the whole thing about being an entrepreneur is creating opportunities for yourself. And by networking, you create those opportunities. If you liked what you've heard here today, then comment down below on how are you creating opportunities for yourself and how are you networking. Subscribe to the channel, like and share the video, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and we'll see you next week.
That's a good pro wrestler face, man. Oh yeah!